regular season. Reno 1868 in their home blues, and the Monarchs wearing the whites, as Reno very quickly aggressive and forcing a mistake by the Monarchs. They'll get a throw in deep in their territory.
It's a similar lineup they had against New Mexico, and it's really successful. So if they can get after it tonight, look forward to some goals.
Richards on the throw-in again. Ends up to Haji. And the Monarchs able to take it away. Probably the best feature of this Monarchs team, their back four very experienced. A couple guys with MLS time. Here's some space for Richards. Ooh. Reno's going to want that one back. Mazovsky and as well, because simply now 5 goals and 5 assists on the year as he slings that one in there.
Came in.
So that one wiped away, but a good early chance from the corner by Kisipli. Reno pushes forward once again. They'll send it out wide to Richards, who had a hat trick of assists in the last home match. 3 assists in that game as Danny Mazovsky scored 4 goals as he tried to lay one in there, and it'll go off of outside back Duke Lacroix, who has been very active in the offensive side of things from his fullback spot.
It's good to see those outside backs getting forward because they just cause so much trouble for the other team.
Bavik Dutt and Robert Vinzi is our 4th official. Looks like the conditions have really improved considerably. Brian, you were out there earlier this afternoon with TMCC. You're the interim head coach over there, and it was not great soccer weather this afternoon, was it?
No, it was a nasty, windy day, and then once the girls started playing, the snow started coming down, and ended up canceling our game about 20 minutes early. So Reno's fortunate not to have those conditions right now.
Lived here a good chunk of my life, and I have never seen September snow. And that was crazy earlier today. Very wet, soppy, kind of sleety snow that fell, and actually stuck in about an inch of snow at my house. It didn't last very long, but if you look on your screen, kind of the north side of the stadium, you can still see some of that snow sticking to the mountaintops. Very bizarre change in weather. It was about 91 degrees on Thursday. It was a very pleasant high 70s yesterday, and then it turned very wintry here this afternoon. Here's a chance for the Monarchs. Galindo trying to close in. Still fighting. That was Schmidt in the box, trying to make some noise. Reno gets rid of it. All the way back out to Danny Mazovsky. Monarchs get possession back. Here they come. Left-footed strike too strong from Michael.
His left foot, that's where he's most dangerous with. We need to make sure they get pressure on him on the top of the box or he can make you pay.
172nd match in the USL tonight for Michael Chang, who defected from his home country of Cuba in 2012 while he was playing for the Cuban national team. He was taking part in a World Cup qualifier in Canada and left his team in Toronto. Was able to find a spot in the USL with Charleston. He played there for 5 seasons. Now with Salt Lake for the last few seasons.
Yeah, and ever since he's been in the league, he's been a pretty consistent goal scorer and played for.
Whistle goes against the Monarchs. Reno puts it back in play, finds Richards on that right side. Nowhere to go with it as they double team him, and he'll send it backwards to Galindo Cruz, and they'll swing it around to the other side. Richards with Haji to his right. Lays it into Siad Haji. Young 19-year-old.
Great turn.
Mazovsky. Good defense there from center back as Kalen Ryden.
That should be a good battle.
Lindo. Monarchs clear. Trying to counterattack. Sloppy play there, though. Gives it right back to Reno. Good chances early for Reno 1868, who thought they got on the scoreboard in the second minute. But usually, as they do, high-tempo offense here early on in this first opening 10 minutes and really setting the pace for this match.
It's been good possession so far from Reno. And once they find a rhythm, then they'll find spaces and start to get after you.
Richards again. Trying to find Mazovsky. That's been the kind of golden combination lately for Reno.
Well, and why not? You know, Mazovsky's been great in the air. I thought Brent Richards was going to play it in earlier when Mazovsky was making the run, but came in just a little late.
In the first 16 matches of the season, Danny Mazovsky tallied only 3 goals. Since then, he's at 7 goals in his last 4 matches, and he has been a big target. And you talked about his play through the air. A lot of those goals have come through the air and from his head.
Well, the service for Brent Richards has been spot on as well lately. We saw there at the beginning, he played another nice ball through that kind of squibbled through there that Herzog would have liked to get a hold of.
Hadji putting pressure on Sam Brown, who gets it back, and they'll send it to the back line for the Monarchs. Here's a chance. Out to Schmidt. Reno not out of trouble yet. Into Chang. Keeps it alive. And Chanjigian gets in front of 32 games. He's had a couple of appearances in the MLS this year. Got promoted up. Actually started a game last week against New England. Punched away by Marcinkowski. And Mazovsky will clear it. Schmidt able to save it. Back into Portillo, excuse me.
That's a nice build-up play from Salt Lake.
Big left-footed strike and all the way back into the seats. As Salt Lake is now in his second season with Reno 1868. 39th start of his career. He's got 8 clean sheets in those 38 previous appearances. Here's Lendo Mafeka. Into Hadji. Elusive. Now it's Calvillo. Trying to find Herzog, trying to time it in there. Good job by Ochoa bursting through and snatching that one before Herzog could get to it.
Good run, just a little too much on it, and Ochoa read that perfectly.
Nothing to give here so far, 12 minutes in. First meeting between these two since April the 6th, when the Monarchs handed Reno their first loss of the season. A 3-1 victory for Salt Lake. One of only 9 losses on the season for Reno. Calvillo trying to get it over there to Hadji. And instead of Richards with a great job. Heads it towards Mazovsky. Can't keep it in, but great job there, Monarchs.
Surprised Mazovsky didn't just get a touch there and let it run through. It didn't work out.
Back over to Tate Schmidt. Haji gets back and takes that one away from Schmidt. Kalen Ryden this time on the throw-in. Salt Lake will try it on the other side. Looking for Chang there in the middle. Score currently on the squad tonight. He's got 8 goals. The Englishman in his first season with the Monarchs after playing last year with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Keep an eye on it for him as well. Here's Calvillo. Back to Richards. A lot of space again for Brent Richards.
Great
Into
ball.
Haji. Richards goes back to collect. Surprised they're giving so much space to Richards over there?
Teams seem to do that. They seem to forget about him, and then he'll make you pay. But, that's where Reno has their successes with Lacroix and Richards coming out of the back. And when they're not doing that, Reno's they're just not as successful as what they do. But when they start getting going, then the midfield starts to open up. There's a lot of space in there for those midfielders in that diamond midfield.
Now Lacroix on the other side. He gets the edge.
Oh, there.
Oh, perfect ball centered in there, and it just missed the foot of Danny Mazovsky. Boy, was that close. And it's interesting because Reno uses both of those outside backs, but they're so different. And you saw there Lacroix, his ability to get around the corner and really frustrate defenses with his speed, very apparent on that last play.
Yeah, and like you said, they just play a little bit differently. Richards is great at sending those balls in at the air, puts in good crosses, and Lacroix just does a great job of getting around that corner, beating his defender when he needs to. And it just forces that outside midfielder or that outside forward to have to get back and defend him, and that's just more work.
Great job by Mafeka. Over to Haji. Give it back to Lindo. Couldn't handle it. Now Haji delivers and put back.
But Mazovsky never made a play for the ball, so I'm not sure why he called it offsides.
Reno probably a little frustrated not to see a result of a goal so far, but they have to be pleased with the amount of good opportunities they've seen so far in the opening 17.
Yeah, they're probably feeling confident that a goal will come if they just keep doing what they're doing. They need to keep the pressure on and not make sure they don't give Salt Lake, time with them and get their confidence. Just need to keep pressing them.
Janjigian broke up that. Out to Herzog. Trying to get away from pressure. Salt Lake wins it back. Building something here. Chang. Some space and a point-blank miss by Kyle.
On the counterattacks, especially when they lose the ball in the midfield.
So Salt Lake that close to getting the game's first goal. Both teams getting some good offensive chances now. Now for Schmidt.
Yeah, he thought he'd been pushed in the back there. The linesman didn't agree. Ooh.
Monarchs trying to find some space. Get it out wide. A little slip that time. Goes back to Lindo Mafeka. Now to Lacroix on the left side.
I put that one in too early. Should have taken it at him a little bit more.
Monarchs quickly pushing the pace the other way. Out to Chang. Double teamed by both Janjigian and Herzog. A little bit of won a USL Cup with the Red Bulls back in 2016, where he was a teammate of Zach Carroll's, as well as Conrad Pliwa, who is another defenseman on this squad. Brings some championship experience to Real.
It's good defense from Reno, pushing them back.
Some patience here from the Monarchs. Trying to find some space in that Reno defense. Tripped up. Back in there, and Marcinkowski is ready and makes a diving save on a header from Powder.
Yeah, and Galindo's wondering why that guy wasn't picked up coming through the midfield. But lack of communication there in the midfield for the last 30 seconds almost cost him.
Update on the game in San Antonio. Big match between San Antonio and Fresno. Reno certainly will be keeping an eye on this one tonight. Fresno trailing 1-0 at halftime as San Antonio has the game's lone goal in the 17th minute. It was Walter Restrepo to give San Antonio a 1-0 advantage. San Antonio right now trying to fight their way into the playoffs. 3 points would get them into 8th place and get them across that cut line. Keep you posted on that score. Reno trying to chase down Fresno. Trailing them by 3 points at the start of the night. And Reno, having already played one more match than Fresno, is going to need a little bit of help in order to get into that second place position. Whistle comes, and that one's going to chips it in. Punched out by Ochoa. Back to Calvillo. Over to Hadji. He's got some space. Hadji elected to center it instead of taking a shot at it. Able to rebound and get it right back, though.
I thought for a minute Hadji was just going to break into the box with his speed there, and then delivered it early.
Send it out wide to Duke Lacroix. No space. Into the corner for Lacroix now. Calvillo. Trying to remain with the leader in sports for 3 more years. ESPN Plus will continue to be the home of all things USL, and at least 19 games a year will be featured on the ESPN family of networks, including 9 games on ESPN Deportes, ESPN, and ESPN Plus. Alongside Brian Slusser, I'm Alex Margulies. 25th minute, and no score between Reno and Salt Lake in the 4th to last match of the 2019 season. What has been a wet and cold evening here in downtown Reno. Coldest night in, I'd say, at least 6 months, maybe even longer than that, as the calendar starts shifting its way towards the wintry months.
Yeah, I was enjoying that 80, 90 degree weather. It turned on us quick.
I was playing golf yesterday. Like, how do I go play golf yesterday and then I have snow in my backyard? Dell. He's been sharp lately from that spot. Off the rebound, it's Lacroix. Off the net. Salt Lake trying to slow things down. Link up their passing.
Ooh.
Herzog putting on pressure, and Ochoa will blast it back towards midfield as it gets all the way back to John Janjigian. Good try there by Herzog. He was trying to get it back out there to Lacroix, and a sliding stop by the Monarchs. Check and see what's going on the right side. It's been Richards and Haji over there today for Reno. Richards throws it over the head of Siad Haji. Tripped up in the box. What do we have here? Not a bad try there. Well defended, though. Kasipli puts it back in, and it's headed into the back of the net. Danny Mazovsky's done it again. His 11th goal of the year. And this one's not getting taken back. It is 1-0 Reno in the 29th minute.
It was interesting. They play the ball into Mazovsky on the free kick. He can't, they come out and clear it, but then he gets right back on it and gets himself another head goal. He's just been a monster in the air.
Here's Kasipli. Look at that power. He comes in there to put that in the back of the net.
He is so consistent with his head. And it's brought something to this team that they just didn't have before while he was out. But they are just, on offense, he dominates the air and causes huge problems.
So Reno a chance to pick up 3 very valuable points here at home. And they've broken the ice here in the first half. Of the 11 goals now scored by Mazovsky this season, that is now number 6 via his head.
They'll keep feeding him. He's done such a great job as being the forward up there, is when he holds the ball and for other players to run on, and then just getting up in the air, winning challenges, scoring goals. I mean, he has come off that injury and just been such a stud. Sometimes those injuries just make you hungry, though. You haven't been on the pitch in a while. Oh, here they go again.
Here's some space for Calvillo. Trying to center it for somebody, and no one's home.
Yeah, once he saw nobody running into the box, he needed to just hold it up there, not force it.
Now Lacroix. Duke Lacroix was trying to pass it over to Haji, and a good job by Ochoa to get in the way of that one and prevent another goal here in a matter of minutes.
Unfortunately, makes Salt Lake chase the ball a little bit. And that second one should open up if they can do that.
Herzog again putting pressure towards Ochoa. This time he goes towards the sideline. Here's Schmidt. Trying to crack through the Reno defense. They collapsed well there. A lot of blue shirts. Not a lot offensively for the Monarchs, and they'll swing it around to the right side. Sam Brown in the corner, and will earn a corner kick. Powder
Ooh, dangerous ball.
Marcinkowski did well again there to punch it away. Janjigian trying to corral it, couldn't do it. Back into the box. Galindo gets his head on it and clears that one. Good fight from Monarchs. Third try. He pulled it. But a whistle comes. Where's that one going? Over to Blake. Rejected away. That time it was Lacroix getting his body in front of him. Blake and Tate converge. Get it to Jack Blake. And Salt Lake will go back and reset.
Well, some possession for Salt Lake, which they haven't been able to put together lately, but this is better from them.
Here's Sam Brown. Trying to find Chang in the middle. Chang closing. Marcinkowski beats him to it. Marcinkowski deciding to kick it out now. Possession back to the Monarchs. Mafeka trying to find Haji. Instead, it's Schmidt who gets in front of that one.
Reno needs to get back on him until Salt Lake's finding some confidence in their game now.
Haji with the takeaway that time. Get it right back to him on the offensive end. Sends it wide to Calvillo. Teed it up for Lindo Mafeka and way too much. But also the home of the AAA Reno Aces, an affiliate of the Arizona Diamondbacks. They wrapped up their season about a month ago. Good slide there from Galindo.
Giving up another corner.
Not much on that one. And Brett Richards on the throw now. Given right back. Trying to get into there to Chang. Because Sipley cut in front of him and passed it to Marcinkowski.
Oh. That was well tried from Kozowski there. I'd like to see Reno turn it up this last 5 minutes. Looks like they're just kind of sitting back and seem happy with taking a 1-0 lead into the half.
Lacroix the takeaway. Looking to find some space. Here's Mazovsky. Danny. Oh. Over to Corey Herzog, and Corey cannot one hand over his 10-plus year career. How many times something like that has happened to him?
Yeah, I mean, I thought Danny was going to hit it too, but he did well to play it across there, and it got to Herzog. Unfortunately, he couldn't get a piece of it.
Here's Richards. Over to Haji. Nice job getting back on defense. That time was Eric Holt. About 5 minutes left here. We'll see what kind of stoppage time gets tacked on, probably a minute or two. Portillo sends it wide. Over to Blake. Back to Jack Blake.
That's good play in the tight space.
Here's Powder. Powder breaks through, and Powder puts it in the back of the nets. And Salt Lake has equalized here in the 41st minute on a goal from Noah Powder.
Well, there's that lake down we always talk about, just at the top of the box. And nobody getting in there, diving, not standing him up, not playing with that intensity. And now they're at 1-1 when they could have gone into the game, gone into half 1-0. Well, that's what I was telling you. We just needed to see more intensity in that last 5 minutes.
Well, that's tough, too, when you have three blue jerseys standing in the middle of the box and nobody can break up a run there from Noah Powder.
No, lack of effort, really. And communication. Somebody just saying, hey, step to him and I'll cover you. That's all that had to be done there. There's no reason he should have just waltzed through there like they were a bunch of cones.
Noah Powder last year had 3 goals with Orange County. That is his first goal this year with the Monarchs. See what Reno can do here in the final couple of minutes. Maybe get one back here going into halftime. Good takeaway. Here's Mazovsky. Got to get through a lot of jerseys. He's
throughout the game. They're going to continue to give up those easy goals and find themselves, fighting with a team that they should be putting away.
David Ochoa on the save. And we'll keep it 1-1 here as we go into the final minute and a half of regulation. Here's Chang. Michael Chang. Galindo slipped, got back up, centers it, and that was a very fortunate situation for Reno. A little slip and a fall as that was a little bit too close for comfort here in the final couple of moments. It was Chang who assisted Powder earlier. Almost had his second.
Yeah, and again, the midfield is not expecting the worst to happen. And then when things do turn bad, they're not in good positions to clean up. Instead, they find themselves behind the play and almost giving up another goal.
Update from San Antonio, Texas. We now have a tied game. Fresno has found the equalizer. In the 55th, Alex Cooper has made it 1-1. We'll keep you posted on that score throughout the night. Important for Reno. Here's Haji. Got himself a little bit of space. Maybe could have taken a shot at goal, but instead taken away. Still some time here for Reno. About a minute of stoppage time added. Into Kisipli. Good ball into Lindo. Lindo tripped up. No whistle. Clean defensive job there by Salt Lake to allow the throw in from Schmidt, and there is the whistle. So Salt Lake fighting hard here on the road, able to tie this one up 1-1. 1 advantage. And for San Antonio, that's huge because that would put them in 9th place and bump them into playoff position. So a lot to keep an eye on down there. Remember a couple weeks ago, it was a San Antonio team that came in here to Reno and really put it to Reno 1868 and came away with a very lopsided win here in Reno, something you don't see very often.
No, and that's a team that you can't take lightly. San Antonio's been tough all season. And even in the games that they've lost, they've kept it close, and it's been a battle for anybody that's played them. And I was also noticing that it looks like Phoenix is down a goal to New Mexico.
Well, it's interesting. Sometimes you see streaks end.
Yep.
And you kind of get that lapse in disappointment, maybe lose a little bit of the magic.
Well, Reno had that going for a few games, and now they found their stride again.
And you're right, 31st minute, New Mexico on top 1-0 against Phoenix. Perhaps 2 losses in a row for Phoenix. That would be quite the change-up.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're resting players, but, that can hurt you in the end. You start resting guys thinking you're getting ready for the playoffs, and then you lose that rhythm. And so they're in a position, how do they keep their guys fresh, but at the same time with that rhythm and that camaraderie that they've had.
A lot of pressure coming from Reno on the offensive end here to start the second half. Eric Calvillo swinging around over to Richards. Janjigian turns around, sends it back to the midfield. They've got Lacroix wide there on the left, and it's Janjigian who once again steps up on it as Reno is kind of waiting out the defensive alignment here, trying to find some space. Pretty rare to see Reno spending this much time kind of in their back line, going back and forth, and very, very patient.
Yeah, it's a good idea to open up this half and get some touches for everyone. Get your legs warm again on this cold night. And just kind of feel out what Salt Lake's going to do here.
Can you kind of lull a defense to sleep, too, by doing something like that, and all of a sudden you kind of hit it?
Well, Reno's really good at that. When they switch the ball left and right, they usually tend to find a hole, or they can get around you on those outsides. Of course, you got leave Richards out there with the ball, and he can swing it in to Mazovsky, and that's been a real dangerous combo for Reno.
Here's Michael Chang. Picked up his 5th assist on the season. That's the best on the team when he assisted the goal by Powder in that 41st minute.
Well, most of their chances have come off mistakes in the midfield by Reno or just lack of picking up a guy.
That game in San Antonio now into the 76th minute. So winding down in Texas. A 2-1 lead for San Antonio on top of the Zorros of Fresno, who came in and beat Reno here a couple of weeks ago. A 3-2 finish. Reno made things interesting late with a couple of goals from Danny Mazovsky, but it was Fresno in the final seconds who pulled ahead and picked up a 3-2 victory. Been a lot of crazy finishes in downtown over these last couple of seasons, and that was definitely one of them.
Sure was. It looks like both teams are just kind of filling things out here at the beginning.
I think you brought up a good point, too, with it being this cold. It's almost kind of like a little warm-up for them. Just get the legs going, get the juices going again, and acclimate to these very frigid temperatures that we've got here tonight that are dipping down into the low 30s.
Yeah, after being in the 90s, the body's not used to going back and forth to hot and cold. So, and it's a good idea just to get everybody touches on the ball, build a rhythm.
What's interesting, too, is you kind of look for an advantage in a match like this when the weather is extreme on one side or the other. But in this case, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference for these two sides because these are two teams that have played a lot in this kind of a climate.
Yeah, they're pretty used to it.
Salt Lake trains at high elevation and very cold in temperatures. Probably trains in the snow as much as Reno does, maybe if even more. So really no advantage there when you're talking about compared to, let's say, Orange County came up here or Phoenix for that matter came up here and had to play in this kind of environment. You maybe could see the scales tipped a little bit and more of a home field advantage for Reno in that case.
Yeah, tonight they're not going to get that playing Salt Lake. Let them come, or if they're going to go for a win, because they need the win just as much, or probably more than Reno does at this point.
Over to Jane Jigian. Now it's Duke Lacroix.
Salt Lake's doing a little bit better of switching with the ball, covering the spaces.
Here's Mazovsky. Ricochets back to him.
Ooh.
Blasted off the post. Almost had his second goal of the night.
What a great shot from Mazovsky. Took the first one, rebounded, and then he got a second chance at it. Let it rip.
He was right on the money as that one banked off the post. And you can see now the poor weather has returned. A little bit of cold rain falling down now here into the 53rd minute of this second half.
Yeah, it's good to see the fans aren't leaving either. They're just sticking around, enjoying the game, even though it got some bad weather.
Good ball into the middle for Mafeka. Trying to lead it in for Herzog, and Ochoa sprinting up and getting on top of it.
A little bit softer pass from Mafeka, and Corey Herzog would have had a goal there. Seen the outside backs. Haven't seen Richards and Lacroix really going down those wings. Kind of sitting back right now.
Here comes Salt Lake. Couldn't handle it. Goes to Galindo. Now it's Calvillo. Spent a lot of time with Reno last year, Calvillo. 11 appearances. Tonight his 5th. And has seen his first MLS time this year with the Earthquakes. Given away late, Mafeka. Trying to center it for Herzog. Another poor giveaway deep in the territory there by Salt Lake. Keeping it knotted up, one apiece. Last goal came across in the 41st minute. Noah Powder, his first of the year. That was after Reno got on the board in the 29th minute, thanks to the headed goal by Danny Mazovsky. Match playoff positioning. Reno is clinched, but trying to get up into the second spot. And for the Monarchs came in today on the road, and they put themselves in prime position to slide up into the 4th spot in the West, which would get them a home playoff game. So a lot at stake for these two teams tonight. Here's a chance, and too strong that time.
I mean, I guess both teams might be happy with if they were both got a tie and pick up a point. I think that moves them into a tie with Orange County.
Nice job by Mazovsky.
We'll open up the ski area tomorrow.
Defended well that time by Salt Lake. All the way out to Calvillo. Into Haji.
Just too slow from Haji. Things got to start picking up.
You can see both teams a little lethargic here in the second half, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like their legs are just trying to get their legs under them from that half.
Looks like another substitution as well for Reno as Luis Paradella, the Cuban forward, will come on and appear in his 4th match of the season, just signed a couple of weeks ago. An explosive player with a lot of international experience playing for the Cuban national team. So Paradella takes over for Herzog, and Fuentes is in for Lindo Mafeka. See if that injects a little offensive life into Reno here in this second half. There's Paradella, puts his shoulder into a defender.
Wow.
The first Cuban player to come over and play in the United States with a visa and not having defected like many players have had to do. He actually was able to get the proper paperwork and the visas, and they allowed him to come play and sign with Reno 1868. And interesting kind of paradox when you talk about Paradella as opposed to Michael Chang, who we have mentioned has had a very long and successful career now in the USL, going all the way back to 2013. But at the time, political climate very different. He did have to defect in order to get over to the U.S. and left the Cuban national team while he was playing in Canada during a World Cup qualifier, and that's how he eventually got out of Cuba. So a couple Cuban-born players on the same pitch, very different ways of how they got here.
Yeah, it's nice to see that things are opening up, and hopefully more players can do the same.
And Paradella not only has played for the Cuban national team, he's actually scored 5 goals in 6 matches of international competition.
Yeah, he's been a big part of their team.
Has had some professional time in Guatemala before getting over to the United States here with Reno.
Well, now he's had a few weeks to get settled in with the team, so we'll see what he can do tonight.
Here's Kasipli. Knifes it through. Finds Danny Mazovsky. Defended well as they'll have to send it back to Calvillo. Over to Mazovsky. And a whistle comes. That one's going again. Kasipli. Went near side box. It reflects all the way to Paradella. Lobbed back in there by Kasipli. Finds Richards. And Richards earns Reno a corner kick. That with the top 2 finish. It's the Locomotive and the Foxes, October 2nd, 6 o'clock, Wednesday Night Soccer on ESPN3. And an update on that match in San Antonio. Speaking of the Foxes, they continue to trail 2-1 as they will try and find a late equalizer now into stoppage time. And for San Antonio, looking for a big 3-point win at home to vault them into playoff position. Here comes a run from Chang. Not really sure what they were trying to do there. An easy stop for Marcinkowski as Holt collected here into the 64th minute. Here's Paradella again. Good physical play, gets him some space. Back to Fuentes. Into Paradella. Sends it out to Lacroix. To Fuentes. Rejected away by Ochoa.
Oh, what a great opportunity. And Paradella did a great job of holding up the play and getting it wide there. And too bad Fuentes. Great save from Ochoa.
Kind of amazed at the power that Gilbert Fuentes got on that shot. He kind of kicked it with the side of his foot, like the opposite side that you would expect him to draw power from.
Yeah, he just
it's kind of a side slap.
But it was coming with power, so he just had to redirect it, and he did a great job of putting it on goal. And then Ochoa just did a better job of getting in front of it.
They'll send it out wide this time to Calvillo.
Showing again why he's a main prospect for the U.S. national team.
Calvillo takes a crack at it. Hits a wall of bodies. See if Reno can break through here. Trying to retake the lead. Chang trying to clear it away. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com. Alongside Brian Slusser, I'm Alex Margulies. Julian Delgadio down on the sidelines, braving through the elements. You know, he's from Southern California, but he has really shown a lot of grit out there by being out in the rain. Paradella trying to spin and kick, and an easy stop for David Ochoa, who has only allowed 22 goals this year in 15 matches. For those of you just joining us, Ochoa in goal. He's only 18 years old and considered one of the top American young goalkeepers, and was part of the U.S. under-20 team that played in the World Cup. Was with the team this summer. Here comes the surge from Salt Lake. Reno trying to get back on defense. And ricochets off a Reno defender is Noah Powder, who collected a goal in the first. Not much going that time. Haji trying to get rid of it. Paradella puts on some pressure, and it goes all the way back to Ochoa. You can see the moisture affecting our cameras here tonight. That rain continues to fall and kind of picking up a little bit harder down there. Comes a run from Richards. Over to Haji. Into Gilbert Fuentes. Back to Richards. And cut off. Well defended that time. Monarchs trying to put together a quick counterattack. And look how quickly Reno able to get 5-6 shirts back on the defensive ends. Quickly in position.
The Salt Lake's doing a much better job this half of closing down those wings. Not allowing Reno to just get around and do what they want.
Chance here for Salt Lake, and Janjigian gets his body in front of it. Jack Blake was the aggressor that time. Powder from the corner. Great job by Marcinkowski to snatch that one out of the air. Over to Duke Lacroix for Reno. I don't think they expected the rain to come down quite this hard tonight. It was snowing this afternoon, but the forecast was kind of hit or miss for this evening, but it has gotten pretty bad here in this second half.
Yeah, it looks like it's gotten worse, and it seems like it's slowed the game down as well. Ball's not moving as quick.
Ochoa able to beat Mazovsky, and looks like he's coming up wincing. The conditions making things pretty uncomfortable out there for the guys. What would you prefer? A cold kind of freezing rain like you've got here tonight, or just actually pure snow at that point?
Well, it depends on it really depends on the wind. There's difficulties to all of it, but either way, it's definitely mentally challenging for these players tonight to have to deal with this weather. But they seem to be doing a good job.
Paradella shoved down from behind, and that's going to draw a whistle. We'll check in now here in this second half. Guido's been a real spark plug in his first season now. 27 matches appeared in. He's got 5 goals and 4 assists on the year.
And he had a great assist when they played Austin, that run that he made down the left side and passed it back into Mazovsky. Usually when he comes in, he adds a bit of energy, that's for sure. And that was their final sub, so that's it for tonight.
Guido came in for Siad Haji, who had Guido in, Paradella in, as well as Gilbert Fuentes. Neither team really able to get very comfortable offensively here in this second half.
Everything seems to be in the midfield right now.
Get that wide to Powder, who has been very involved in the offense tonight. Had the lone goal for Salt Lake. Janjigian cuts that one off. Here's Gilbert Fuentes. Trying to find the outside. That's soccer.com/academy. Here's some space for Gleedle. Decided to take a crack at it and ricochets off a defender. Janjigian racing back on the defensive end. Keeps one away from Chang. Dangerous throw in as Marcinkowski will quickly get rid of that ball. Salt Lake trying to organize here. Blake and Powder going back and forth. Now they'll send it back to their center backs and swing it around to the other side themselves. Blake knocked away by Marcinkowski. Back over to Powder. Here's Brown. Intercepted by Gleedle, who sends it out of play. Out to Calvillo.
Yeah, the ball movement hasn't been too good lately. Reno needs to get back to moving the ball around.
Moving it here, Paradella. Kept in play. Off the bar again. That time it was Richards who nearly had a goal.
Good vision from Gleedle.
Ones tacked on to a couple that were negated for Reno in the first half. So they've had some chances kind of squandered, maybe some points, and pull away from Salt Lake.
Yeah, they just need to up the tempo a little bit, and I think if they do that, they'll get that third goal.
Paradella shoved down from behind, won't get a whistle. Chance here for Blake. Feeds it to Powder.
The ref has done a good job tonight. He's let it be physical but not dirty, letting them play.
Nice job by Fuentes there to win that one in the midfields. Tight match coming down to the final 10 minutes. Two teams hoping for more than just 1 point here tonight.
Good switch.
Chance for Salt Lake, and off the bar. And Marcinkowski gets back again. Oh my, and pulled by Salt Lake as that one.
He couldn't have been any better.
Reno not out of trouble yet, and that one finds the back line. And the Monarchs have stunned Reno here in this second half as Eric Holtz has his first goal of the year.
Just letting him loose on the weak side there, not picking him up. Bounces out and then is able to thread the needle into that far corner. Well, Marcinkowski did everything he could to keep it out, and then fortunately they just squeeze it in after those great saves. Well, 7 minutes. Let's see if Reno can turn it up a notch and get one back.
Still plenty of time for Reno to now equalize. They saw Fresno miss an opportunity down in San Antonio as they dropped a... We'll see if Reno can find something. They've had a lot of close ones tonight. Also have to be careful. Salt Lake has been organized pretty well here in the last couple minutes.
Well, they have done a much better.
Continue to follow, support, and watch your club on ESPN and ESPN+. 87th minute, Reno trying to rally here late. Danny Mazovsky over to Eric Calvillo. Back to Seth Kasipli. Here's Brent Richards. Gets away from Paradella, and the Monarchs will clear it all the way back to Galindo. Got to be careful here. Marcinkowski handles a sharp shot off the foot of... See what Reno can do here as they flip the field. Here comes Paradella.
Good run by Gleedle there. Well, got a corner out of it.
Just simply from the corner. Cleared away. Gleedle keeps it alive. Janjigian. Salt Lake survives that attack.
Well, still got the pressure on. Oh.
Crunch time here tonight in Reno. Final couple of ticks.
We should still have about 3 more minutes of extra time.
Galindo sends it out of play.
Softened up and coming out in chunks.
Lead in the 83rd minute by Eric Holt's goal. His first of the year. Holt, who had spent time at the MLS level with the Real Salt Lake this year, making 5 appearances. He even started a match last week against New England. Came through the big moment about 10 minutes ago. Still time for Reno to find some late magic, and they'll go down towards the corner, and it'll be a throw-in for Brent Richards. Kasipli And it's Ochoa, the 18-year-old keeper, who pulls it away. You see the +3, and we're at 93, but with that stop of play a couple minutes ago, there should still be, I'd say, at least a minute, maybe 2 left.
Yeah, we'll see what the ref does here. Not a lot of time.
Maybe one more chance here for Reno. See what they can make of this opportunity. Off the ricochet goes to Fuentes. Richards was trying to find Galito, and it was